And I talk about, I named my intramural team after Walton, called the Walton Gang. And because it was a tribute to the teamwork that he had, that he expected, that he hoped for. He had that simplicity. He wanted perfection, but he knew what simplicity meant. And having John Wooden there as his coach. And I fell in love with the ability to be selfless, but be the best player in college basketball, which is really hard to do. And, taking that style into that Portland team in 77, that's the most selfless, champion I've ever witnessed. And didn't have really star power, had Bill and Mo Lucas and Jack Ramsey. But that ability, that innate ability to see a game differently. I mean, we marvel at Joker now. Bill did Joker-like things, 50 years ago.
Yes. Aside from bringing the ball up court, I think maybe you put Wes Unseld in this category, maybe even Kevin Love, but to me, he was the best outlet passer that ever lived. He could go up and get a rebound at or above the square of the backboard and turn in midair, and that ball was gone down court for a break. He could really run before he was injured. And I think his NBA career, Dan, I mean, we're about the same age. You remember that stuff. Like he was probably the Sandy Koufax in a way of the NBA, that when he was healthy, it was him and Kareem were the best centers. And that was it. And I think it was him and Kareem as the best players, not just the best centers, but the best players to ever play college basketball. I mean, he was 86-4 in his college career. In 3 years, he went 30-0, 30-0, 26-4. And his senior year in 1974, they lost. They called it the lost weekend in Sports Illustrated. They lost back-to-back to Oregon and Oregon State. Digger Phelps and Notre Dame ended that 88-game winning streak, and then they lost in double overtime to David Thompson and NC State in the Final Four in Greensboro, North Carolina. That was it. And teams used to stall against them, you name it. But I remember, my coaches when I got to college. The trainer at Duke was a guy named Max Crowder, and he insisted Bill Walton's the best player I've ever seen. And they all talked about him being the best. And then you get to know him later on, and he was later on in his career he became a showman, but he wasn't necessarily like that off the court. He was goofy and fun. But hey, can I read you a text message he sent one time?
Sure.
You have time for that?
Absolutely.
So I played golf with a high school buddy of mine named Steve Howard. And Steve was a deadhead, or still is a deadhead, has gone to dead shows for 35 years. And he and Bill became friends through dead shows. So Steve and I played golf this last summer. And while we're playing, we decide, hey, let's send a video to Big Red. So we sent a video to Bill. And this was his response. And I'll do it in his voice. Awesome. Terrific. Steve and Jake, two of my heroes. Thanks for your kindness, patience, and my life. On your golf adventure, Jake mentioned going low. Please remind him I'm much better going high. May the four winds blow you safely home. May you stay forever young. May you stay forever, Steve and Jake. With eternal gratitude and boundless everything, I miss you, I salute you, I thank you. BW. From the bright side of the road, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. That's his response. And he sent that kind of stuff to everybody. I mean, everybody that I've shared this with said, oh, they sent one back to me. They got something similar. I mean, he was one of a kind.